Good Tuesday, everyone, and thank you for joining me for episode 40 of the Southern Conservative Podcast. My name is Ty. Congratulations to Villanova for winning the NCAA basketball championship last night. Lots of excitement in the Philadelphia area, and this comes about 2 months after the Eagles won the Super Bowl in February. Also, congratulations to the women's basketball Notre Dame for their victory in the women's championship game. Well, yesterday I discussed at length the Laura Ingraham boycott and how boycotting someone because you disagree with their viewpoints is a path we don't need to go down. Well, Fox News released a statement yesterday concerning Laura Ingraham. Now, I have to mention this, and I think I forgot to say it yesterday. She is off this week, and some speculated she was off this week because of the controversy with David Hogg. Well, that's not the case. This was a planned vacation week for her, and we expect her to be back next week. Let's look at the statement yesterday from Fox News. This from Fox News co-president Jack Abernathy. We cannot and will not allow voices to be censored by agenda-driven intimidation efforts. We look forward to having Laura Ingraham back hosting her program next Monday when she returns from spring vacation with her children. So there you have it. I'm glad Fox News is sticking up for Laura Ingraham. We should all be sticking up for Laura Ingraham during this boycott. You can disagree with the boycott and disagree with her viewpoints. Just don't watch her show. But don't call for her advertisers to drop her so her show gets booted off the air. The whole point in this boycott is to silence a conservative voice. And succeeding to that end would set a dangerous precedent, as I discussed yesterday. If you want a full discussion of this, check out episode 39 from yesterday, which you can find on this YouTube channel. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Jill McCabe, the wife of former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, who was recently fired from the FBI, is speaking out now, defending her husband in an attempt to set the record straight. She is speaking out against the firing of her husband. Now, Jill McCabe actually plays a role in a controversy involving her husband when the Hillary Clinton email investigation was going on. I've talked about this several times. In 2015, 1 year before the Hillary Clinton investigation into her private email server and her mishandling of classified information, Jill McCabe was running for a state Senate seat in Virginia. She received around $700,000 from two PACs that have ties to Terry McAuliffe. Now, this is an absolutely ridiculous amount of money her campaign received for a state Senate race. I mean, we're talking about a very local race she was running in Northern Virginia. Anyway, Terry McAuliffe is a very good friend of Hillary Clinton. Well, Jill McCabe wound up losing that state Senate race. Fast forward to 2016. Her husband, as deputy director of the FBI, was actively involved in the investigation into Clinton's private email server. And we know that James Comey let Hillary off the hook on July 5, 2016. Later in October, just weeks before the 2016 election, the investigation was reopened after emails between Clinton and Huma Abedin were found on Abedin's husband, Anthony Weiner's laptop. What's interesting is Andrew McCabe knew about those emails for an entire month before the investigation was reopened. On October 24th, a story was published in the Wall Street Journal about the financial contributions Jill McCabe received. Andrew McCabe recused himself from the investigation on November 1st, about a week after that story was published. Now, part of Jill McCabe's recent statement in the Washington Post reads, Andrew's involvement in the Clinton investigation came not only after the contributions were made to my campaign, but also after the race was over. What in the hell does that matter? Who cares if the race was ongoing or if it happened 10 years ago? The bottom line is Jill McCabe, the wife of Andrew McCabe, received contributions from PACs tied to a friend of Hillary Clinton. And we're not talking about small contributions. We're talking almost $700,000. The one PAC that is more closely tied to Terry McAuliffe amounted to $467,500. The rest of the money came from the Virginia Democrat Party. But remember, McAuliffe, who was governor of Virginia at the time, was the top Democrat in that state. Then 1 year later, her husband is involved with investigating the person who is a friend of the man who helped provide the financial contributions. And surprise, surprise, Hillary Clinton is let off the hook. It wasn't until the public was aware of the contributions Jill McCabe received and where those contributions came from that Andrew McCabe recused himself. He should have recused himself from the beginning, but he didn't. So if you think all of this doesn't reveal a quid pro quo, try this out. We know McCabe was having discussions with Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, who have revealed their disdain for Donald Trump and their hopes that Hillary Clinton would be elected president. There was some sort of talk about an insurance policy that would involve taking down Trump's presidency if he was elected. And we still don't know the full details of this. But from the text messages we have seen, McCabe was involved in ensuring Trump wasn't elected. And if Trump didn't get elected, it means Hillary would get elected. See the bias there? Now, I know last month we were to see a full report from the Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz detailing how the DOJ and FBI handled the Hillary Clinton investigation. And many have speculated that not-so-good information on James Comey and Andrew McCabe will be gleaned from this report. The report is now expected to be out this month. We shall wait and see. I want to remind everyone to please check out my Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/Southern Conservative. That's facebook.com/Southern Conservative. There you will find links to conservative news articles on stories you may not hear about in the mainstream media. Plus, if you follow the news feed, you'll find links to the daily podcast. Be sure to also subscribe to this YouTube channel. You'll be notified each time a podcast is posted. New podcasts are posted daily, Monday through Thursday. Folks, this next story comes from the Daily Wire. I'm sure you know that there is a caravan of people from Central America marching through Mexico now, trying to reach the United States, in what is now the latest big wave of illegal immigrants trying to get to America. The immigrants are trying to demand asylum in this country, claiming to be refugees. It's expected the caravan of about 1,500 people will reach the southern border by the end of this week. According to the very liberal CNN, approximately 400 people who did not enter Mexico legally have been turned away and sent back to their home countries. Mexican immigration officials are supposedly going to break up the caravan before they reach the United States. According to BuzzFeed's Adolfo Flores, Mexican immigration authorities said they plan on disbanding the Central American caravan by Wednesday. The most vulnerable will get humanitarian visas. Everyone else in the caravan, which has traveled through Mexico for days, will have to petition the Mexican government for permission to stay in the country or will have to leave. He also said the actions of the Mexican government are not a response to recent statements Donald Trump has made about the caravan. In fact, Trump has put a whole series of tweets out on this issue, slamming Democrats for their liberal policies for the mess our immigration system is in right now. The president tweeted on Sunday, "Border Patrol agents are not allowed to properly do their job at the border because of ridiculous liberal Democrat laws like catch and release. Getting more dangerous. Caravans coming. Republicans must go to nuclear option to pass tough laws now. No more DACA deal." Now, this has nothing to do with DACA, but I do see the point Trump is trying to make. He's referring to the compromise the president was willing to make with Democrats, in which he would allow 1.8 million illegal immigrants to become DACA recipients and receive amnesty. This in exchange for ending the lottery visa system and chain migration, moving toward a merit-based immigration system, and building a border wall. And this went nowhere. Democrats don't want a wall, and they don't want any policy enacted that would stem the flow of illegals into this country. And that's because Democrats see these illegals as potential voters one day. The nuclear option Trump is referring to is the Senate ending the filibuster rule, requiring a simple majority to pass new immigration laws. Of course, you can't get a border wall up by the end of the week, but the Congress could pass legislation to clarify exactly what happens when people are apprehended at the border. Trump has also threatened Mexico for their lack of efforts to stop this caravan. After all, these immigrants are coming from Central America and have to completely pass through Mexico to reach the United States. Trump also tweeted on Sunday, Mexico is doing very little, if not nothing, at stopping people from flowing into Mexico through their southern border and then into the U.S. They laugh at our dumb immigration laws. They must stop the big drug and people flows, or I will stop their cash cow, NAFTA. Need wall. He also tweeted yesterday, Mexico has the absolute power not to let these large caravans of people enter their country. They must stop them at their northern border, which they can do because their border laws work, not allow them to pass into our country, which has no effective border laws. Congress must immediately pass border legislation, use nuclear option if necessary, to stop the massive inflow of drugs and people. Border Patrol agents and ICE are great, but the weak Dem laws don't allow them to do their job. Act now, Congress. Our country is being stolen. And Trump is right. Our country is being stolen. Our sovereignty as a country is thrown out the window when you erase our southern border. We cease to be a country if we don't have borders. After all, borders define countries. And yet you have a group who claims to be for open borders that is helping the efforts of these immigrants and has demanded the United States take these people in. Folks, this is absolutely undermining our sovereignty, our national security, and our legal immigration process. I mean, what message does this send to people all over the world? Just come to the United States. We don't care who you are. We don't care if you can work, if you're ill, if you don't speak English, if you have no skills, if you can't support yourself. As long as you can get to America, you'll be allowed to stay. What kind of nonsense is that? And yet, that's what those who want open borders want. Trump kept tweeting yesterday, as ridiculous as it sounds, the laws of our country do not easily allow us to send those crossing our southern border back to where they came from. A whole big wasted procedure must take place. Mexico and Canada have tough immigration laws, whereas ours are an Obama joke. Act, Congress. And he tweeted, Honduras, Mexico, and many other countries that the U.S. is very generous to sends many of their people to our country through our weak immigration policies. Caravans are heading here. Must pass tough laws and build the wall. Democrats allow open borders, drugs, and crime. Now, I could talk more about the whole illegal immigration mess, but I want to make a few points. First, I hope Mexico will step up efforts and stop this caravan before it reaches the United States. And I hope this caravan sticks together and Border Patrol agents are able to apprehend as many people as possible at the border. Remember, the big issue that put Donald Trump over the top of other Republican candidates early on in the primary season back in 2015 was the issue of immigration. People chanted, "Build that wall." People are still chanting that today. The caravan is going to help reignite the illegal immigration debate and the need to secure our southern border. Hopefully, Republican senators and congressmen will join the president in demanding a secure border. And hopefully, they will take this on the campaign trail this fall. This caravan is going to re-energize those on the right who hopefully will elect those who will vote to fund the border wall and vote to enact policies that will help curtail illegal immigration. This is certainly going to wake up Trump voters who, like myself, are very disappointed at the recent spending bill the president signed. But we have to remember, we have a president who is committed to securing the southern border and desperately wants a wall built. We need to do what we can to help the president in his efforts. It's more than just giving Trump a victory. It's about protecting America's sovereignty and national security. It is time for Congress to act. Either we're going to be a country or we're not. Either we're going to have borders or we're not. What kind of country do you want to be? One where immigrants go through a process to become American citizens? or one where we let anyone in who wants to come here, no questions asked? I think the choice is pretty clear. That's it for today, folks. I'll be back on Wednesday for another podcast. Have a great day, everybody.